Right then. So let's just get started. So awesome. So we are going to be treating the topic how to land your dream role, your dream internship in tech by 2025. And the reason why we are focusing on internship, I'll let you know as we proceed. But right now, let's just, dive in and get started. First, this session is hosted by Amdari. It's a free session. It's a free webinar that we have every weekend in order to help data professionals, cybersecurity professionals, business analysts, project managers, and people in tech in general transition seamlessly and easily in tech. And pretty much everything you need to know and understand about how to navigate the space are what we equip you with, right? So Amdari is that platform that is designed for professionals like yourself. At the start of this, I said I'd like to get to know you on a professional level. That's so that I would have an idea of the people we have on the call, if you are the people that we created Amdari for. And it's so great to know that everyone on this call is in tech, entry level, and you're looking to, gain that relevant experience that will propel you to the next level in your tech career. So, like I said, Amdari is a platform created for people who have acquired the skill and they are looking to enhance the skill they've acquired and also looking to gain industry relevant experience by understanding the industry standard and every needed skill set, from hard and technical skills to soft skills needed to thrive in the tech space and in your workspace in general. And we also foster continuous learning, networking, and continuous career advancement opportunities. So our mission is to bridge the gap between theoretical learning and real world experience. And in this case, you understand one major thing. When it comes to learning in class, like when you're just acquiring the skill, they are teaching you theoretically. Even if you're being, given projects to work on, like capstone projects and everything, it's still theory. Yes, it can be hands-on, but there is a major, like, defining difference between theoretical and real world. In the real world sense now, you're exposed to the real world expectation of what is expected of you as a tech professional, right? As compared to what it's just like in school, like when you were in maybe secondary or primary school, where your teacher would typically give you maths calculations or mathematical problems to solve. And we always make this joke in class: it's 1 plus 1, 2 plus 2, 3 times 2. Simple maths like that. But when you get into the exam hall, you'd realize that the question is totally different from what you were exposed to in class. Yes, you were prepared in class, but then you are now in the real world where you need to, like, defend everything you've learned, and they want to see how you're able to, think of all of those things, bring them together and apply them in your exam. So the exam in this case is the real world. Please, you can indicate by dropping maybe an icon like a thumbs up or something if this is something you relate with. In secondary school, it's typically, or even primary school, it's typically 1 plus 1, 2 plus 2, and everything. But when it comes exam period, you're giving something else that you don't understand. That's when you'll be seeing x raised to the power of -3, so or something like, oh, x times -3 in bracket, by the way, raised to the power of 2 times, and then you have to start applying board mass. You start to, and you're wondering, okay, it's just 1 plus 1 in class. I thought I was prepared. What's this? That's what happens when you get into the real world and you're not exactly prepared. But Amdari is now at that point where we're like, we know what's expected. We know what recruiters want to see on your CV. It's not the certificate you've acquired in class. It's not the capstone projects you worked on in class. It's not enough proof that you can do the job, because they're about to entrust a lot in your hands, resources of the company. They're also about to, pretty much entrust a lot in your hands. So they need to be sure that you can actually deliver thoroughly, right? So that's one of the reasons why Amdari was created, to be that bridge between the gap of theoretical and real world learning. And gladly and thankfully, we've been able to really achieve that. And at the start of this, you were able to see the interns that have been able to secure the internship placement from Amdari. We were able to place them in organizations on paid internship, and this is just a few of how we've been, impacting entry-level tech professionals. So to the main reason why we are here today. We're going to be treating this topic, how you can land an internship in tech, especially by 2025. It's getting competitive by the day, and it's important that you keep equipping yourself. It's important that you keep learning and you keep evolving so that you are constantly sought after, so that you don't, decline in your own career. Now, your profession might not even be declining, but your skill set is declining. So, how do you stay up to date as well? That's how Amdari is also helping to solve a problem. So we'll be treating all the three proven ways to get a job faster, 8 things to do to get an internship in 2025, Amdari work experience internship, and our special offer for you. Now, moving on, a brief introduction about myself. My name is Omomi Victoria Samson. I'm a business and tech executive with over 5 years of experience in the tech industry. I have worked as a software engineer, a marketing executive, a product manager, and also I am very well versed in tech entrepreneurship. I have a proven track record of delivering impactful results across various industries that I have worked in. I have worked in ed tech, film tech, and also marketing, and I have really impacted these industries that I have worked in. And I'm very passionate about anything that has to do with technology, as long as we're using it to solve a problem, just like we're doing with Amdari. We're using Amdari and the power of technology to solve a real world problem by building a platform that allows you to work on a self-paced level, to work on real world projects that have business context to it. So it's not random project, it's not practice project. And how again are we solving a problem with Amdari? With the portfolio builder. With this portfolio builder, you're able to build your own portfolio website. And how do you do that? It's just by filling your details like your bio, years of experience, number of projects you've worked on, your proficiency level. It's just you fill a form and a website is generated for you. And you have access to this website for life. You keep updating the website with the projects you've worked on Amdari, and you keep adding it. One of the upcoming features is the opportunity for you to upload external projects that you've worked on the platform. And like I said, you have access to it for life. So, and it's a portfolio website, like a proper portfolio website for you that houses all your projects, your years of experience, and everything. So this is how we are using technology to also solve another major problem, because we know that having a portfolio website can cost an arm and a leg. And imagine an entry level trying to just showcase themselves and prove that, okay, this is what I have done and this is what I can do for your company. And then I have to break an arm and a leg and everything just to get my website. I believe you all have an idea of how much it costs to build a website, right? Can you like give me a thumbs up or something? You have an idea of how much it costs to build a website. Exactly. I mean, we have some software engineers here too. So you would already know that it costs a lot. So imagine being able to build it for free. You don't pay for hosting. Every update we make to the portfolio website, you always have access to it. In the future, 5 years, 10 years, just because you onboarded and joined Amdari platform. So that's all of the ways that we have been able to impact tech professionals. And I'm very passionate about the work that we do, because anything that has to do with human capital development, you would see me there. And because we are so big on that at Amdari, I am very passionate about our work. And currently, I am the CTO and COO at Amdari. So that's me. Moving on. Now, let's get into the main topic of the day, which is the classic chicken and egg problem. So before I proceed, please, who can remember the topic that we're treating? Like, you can remember, just type it. I know it's a bit long, but just type it. I have my eyes glued to the screen. And I hope you're having fun so far, because we've not even started, guys. It's packed with so much strategies and tips. And it's coming from a place of, I have been there as an employee, and I have also been there as a recruiter. So I know what recruiters look out for. And based on my own personal experience as well, I know what it has been like, the things I did that made me get the job and everything like that. And I also started as an intern. My tech career started with internship. I'm not sure I've seen anybody in tech. It's possible there is, but in my own experience and based on the people that I've come across, and I'm talking about people who are currently thriving in tech globally, I've not seen anyone who did not go through the internship route. All right, so we have people who are responding already, and that is awesome. Ayodeji says, how to land your dream internship in tech by 2025. Awesome. So, has anyone here ever gotten an internship? If it's a yes, give me a thumbs up. If you've never gotten any, give me a thumbs down. You've gotten an internship before, thumbs up. You've not gotten, thumbs down. I have my eyes glued to the screen, so I would like to see the people. Awesome. So, because I want the people who have gotten it before to, let me know if they relate to some of the things that we will be, trashing out and discussing. And for everyone who has not gotten before, you would get to learn a lot, not even just from me, but from the other people on this call who also said they've gotten it. Okay, we have a lot of people who have not gotten internship. That's amazing. Awesome. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. So let's treat, I mean, people have already reminded of the topic, and I'll just say it again for the purpose of people who just joined. So we are treating the topic how to land your dream internship in 2025, the strategies, the steps, and the skills that you need. Remember, I didn't say tricks, because there is no trick anywhere. It is all this combined that makes it look like you're performing magic and you're a trickster or something. There is no trick anywhere. You just have to follow the due process, and it becomes your cheat sheet. So just see this session as that perfect cheat sheet that you have. And trust me, it's being recorded, so you can always go back to it on YouTube, on our page, Amdari, and watch on our channel, rather. So the classic chicken and egg problem is the case of you needing experience to get a job. But then how do you get the job when you don't have the experience? So you're applying for a job, they need you to have experience. Now, if they don't give you the job because you're entry level, you probably just concluded a program in data science or data analytics or cybersecurity or software engineering or business analysis or any of the tech fields, you just completed a program and you're trying to get a job because based on what you've heard, tech is amazing, there is money in tech and everything, and you just cannot wait to get straight into it. So now, but nobody is willing to give you the job because they expect you to have experience, right? So now, how then do they expect you to have that experience if they won't give you the job? That's what Andari is here for. Now, we'll get into that gradually. But let me know if anybody has experienced this before. You try to get a job, they need experience, and because you've not gotten the experience they needed, you were not qualified for the job. So they moved on to other people. If you've experienced that before, can you give me a thumbs up? You tried to get a job, they needed you to have experience because, okay, great. I just need to be sure that people can relate to everything we're discussing. Awesome. Thank you, guys. I can see your reactions, everybody. Thank you. Okay. So now, for many, when it comes to gaining experience, the go-to solution is to work on personal projects to fill that gap. Some people can go on different platforms, even GitHub, just to work on practice projects and just have something on their portfolio. But is that enough? Right? Because yes, projects, I would always say this, projects are like a great way to get started. It's a great way to have that hands-on experience, right? It's a great way. That was why I said something earlier again. I said, it's just like a case of you being in a classroom and the mathematical problem that you're given is different from what you encounter when you get into exam hall. And that's because it's a real world situation now. They're giving you things that you most likely would experience. So practice projects are not exactly going to prepare you as much. They would enhance your skills. They would show that you've gained this. In fact, you'd learn new concepts. Definitely. Projects are great. They are just not enough. So this statement is not saying projects are not a great way. No, they are perfect. They are awesome. They are great, but it is not enough. They are just like one piece of puzzle. Like, do you get, like, they're only a piece of the puzzle, pretty much. So you would now say, you want to follow who know road in this case, because if we're saying projects are not enough, then what exactly is needed? If projects are not enough, or more me, I won't follow who know road. So if projects are not enough, or if projects alone are not the answers to landing a job, what is the answer? And I'm going to give you all of that, like I said. It's very important that at every stage in our career, right, we go about getting to know everything that we should know. Yeah. So now, in this case, for you to get a job, we have three proven ways. and I have mentioned that at the start of this call, right? Thank you guys. I see the reactions. At the start of this, I mentioned that I'll be giving you the steps and the tips, the skills as well, and the strategies. So there's no trick anywhere. So first, you learn the skill. And I believe everybody on this call, please, if you've not learned any skill in tech and you're just about to start, can you just give me a one in the chat? And if you've learned, just give me a thumbs up. You've not learned a skill, a one. You've learned, just give me a thumbs up. I want to know how many people have learned that we have. I'm seeing the reactions. Thank you, Victor. Thank you, every other person. I'm seeing all of the thumbs up. Olaliko, Omine, Pilam, Greatness, everybody. Okay. We have a lot of people on this call who have already learned this skill. So for you to say you want to transition into tech and you want to get the job, the first thing you need to do is to learn the skill. And I'm glad that a majority of the people that we have on this call have learned the skill, right? For the people who have not learned, trust me, you need to start with learning. So first, learn. Now you have the skill. What do you do to land the job? If you've learned, you've been in class, you've taken capstone projects and everything like that, what's the next thing for you to do? You need to work on projects, more projects. Don't get tired of working on projects, because projects help you to enhance your skill, practice new concepts, and keep improving. One thing that nobody should get comfortable with is where they are at any particular point in time. I am constantly learning. There were things I just learned yesterday. I am always on learning. There are things I thought were the right ways to do things that I realized that they are not the right way, and then I abandon it and I learn a new way to do it. And that's because sometimes I'm exposed to the people who have maybe a different perception, which is actually, you consider it and you're like, okay, this is actually right, right? So you don't always find the answers alone. You find answers from other people, and I love to learn from other people. That's why I love to surround myself with very intelligent people, because that's the best way to unlearn. Trust me, I have things I've learned, I have my beliefs, I have my perception, but then you surround yourself with some great people, some super intelligent people, and then you hear some things and you're like, okay, so you're unlearning at that point and bringing on board new knowledge. So constant learning is important. And how do you keep improving as a tech professional? Please work on projects. Even after getting jobs, one thing I tell people is, as long as you have some spare time, you might not be able to dedicate as much time as when you didn't have the job. But now that you have the job, don't get comfortable and say, oh, you've landed the job. You can become irrelevant at that job if new technologies and new trends are coming in and you're not learning, you're not evolving, you're not practicing to get better. How do you become sought after in your organization alone? How do you become top in your organization alone, right? So it's important to work on projects and more projects. Just challenge yourself, task yourself with certain things, and make sure that you're constantly learning. So the next proven way to get a job is to work on projects. The other proven way is to intern. For me, I intend. I know that a couple of people here have said they've interned. If you're currently working in tech and you didn't have to intern to get a job, just give me a thumbs up. But if that's not the case, no need to react. I would, like I said, my eyes are on the screen. So if I don't see a reaction, I believe everybody. I know that I've already asked if anybody has interned. We have a couple of people who said they have, and we have a whole lot who said they haven't. So if you didn't intern and you got a tech role, can you give us a thumbs up? Like you're currently employed as a tech person and you didn't have to intern at any point. Not paid, not sorry, whether it's paid, whether it's unpaid, you didn't have to intern, you just got the job. Give me a thumbs up. Okay. So I think we have about 4 people. All right. Thank you very much, guys, for responding to my question. So like I said, in a lot of cases, intern, it's a case of like 90, let's say like 95% of the people in tech had to intern at some point or work on projects, right? So the major proven ways to just get a job is learn, work on projects, intern, and you're able to like land a job. Internships allow you to have prior experience to fill up your resume. So now I would like to explain the difference between working on projects and internship, right? So when it comes to working on projects, imagine you play video games, and then with video games, you're able to click on the navigation buttons, all of the gear. You can steer your car very well. You can do all of the things, like whether it's even manual or automatic, you can drive in a game, right? You're able to just do everything on the game when it comes to driving a car. And then in real life, we have the other person who can drive in real life. So this person, A, can drive in a game. Then person B can drive in real life. Like person A can drive in a game without even hitting the next car. As you can see on my screen, without hitting the next car, is smooth, is good, and skilled. Like he can drive it perfectly. And then we have person B who drives in real life. I would like to ask, who would you trust with your life? Person A or person B? Because in this case now, person A comes to you and says, oh, I can drive. I can actually drive so well in this game that I play online, and I don't see any difference with playing that game and driving in real life. Who are you going? So Mr. A stands, he wants to drive you somewhere. Mr. B stands, he wants to drive you somewhere. Guys, I would really love you to indulge me and respond. Who would you trust with your life when it comes to driving? Is it it's just to add humor. It's to add humor, Yusuf. That's why we have the cats there. You can see it's driving. Yes, so everybody's picking B, right? Ignore the cats. It's just the scenario that you should trust. All right, everybody's trusting Mr. B to drive them. I've not seen anybody pick A. That's because, yes, you can drive in a game. You're so smooth, you can navigate you can move smoothly and everything like that. But when it comes to real life, there are instances, there are factors that you would not think that you'd even encounter that would happen, right? So things like that, how do you bypass it when you've not actually experienced it? But person B has actually experienced it for real. So he's the person that anybody on this call would go for. And of course, you guys are even already picking that person. So projects are like driving race cars in a video game. It is simulation, it is practice. It's not the real thing. Why is it not the real thing? Because it is not adding any impact to a real business. Because you are not working in a team. Because you are not reporting to a supervisor. Because nobody is reviewing what you've done. So it's your judgment. You worked on it, you're done, you submit it. There is no feedback. Remember what I said about learning and unlearning, and how exposing myself to certain category of people have helped me to okay, see things, okay, oh, this is a new way to do this. There are tools I use today that I ordinarily didn't discover it. I discovered those tools from working with people or interacting with others. Imagine I was working in isolation or working alone. That's what comes with working on projects, right? Nobody reviewed it to say, oh, it's good enough or something. It didn't have to have any impact on a business. So I wouldn't know if my analytical thinking was wise enough or was top notch or it was below par. I wouldn't know. That's what happens with driving a car in a video game as against driving in real life. Now, internship gives you the actual experience. Like, it's not skill enhancement. You're not enhancing any, you're gaining the actual industry experience. You're interacting with stakeholders. You have a line manager or a supervisor. You have a team lead. You have teammates. You have cross-functional teammates as well. Your work is reviewed. There is a business goal attached to what you're doing. You're not just doing something random. There is a reason why you're doing it. It's to either benefit the business, and you'd be very, very careful because you want whatever analysis you're doing to make sense at the end of the day, right? You want it to either reduce marketing budgets, or you want it to increase revenue for that particular month or for every month, right? So that's why internship and projects are different. Yes, you're enhancing your skill, you're doing more than you've done in class, but it's not the same thing at all, right? So now moving on. If you have questions, guys, please just keep typing and all of that. So like I said, I would attend to them after the session. So now you might want to say, Omomi, what are the things I should do to take total advantage? By total advantage, now I am saying, how do you have this in place, project, and have internship in place, and every other thing in between, because there are a lot of other things in between. So what do I do to take total advantage? Because in tech, you want to take advantage. If you're applying for a job, I don't think you're applying to waste the recruiter's time or to waste your own time, because a lot of effort would go into you tailoring your CV or your resume and cover letter to just apply for that job. So you wouldn't be doing it just to waste your time. So, and you're not the only one applying. There are a lot of other people who are applying. Their skills might be badass as well, and you want to have an edge. So, how do you take total advantage of the opportunities that you can take? Right now, that brings us to the 8 steps on the things you can do to land a job in 2025. Now, things I will do if I need an internship is now what I'll be listing for you. Again, this is coming from a place of experience as an employee and someone who has also recruited over the years. So, first, you just need to get started. That's the first thing. You are not a pro yet. Start simple. Start with beginner level projects, entry level related projects, and all of that. Build experience and let it add up. By me saying build experience and let it add up, I'm saying build experience, own it, and not just make it up. Own the experience, and that's because you've thoroughly done what you should do. You've worked on the projects, you've dedicated time to it holistically, like you're committed to the process, and then you can start applying for jobs. Now, like I said, start simple. Beginner-friendly projects are available on platforms like Amdari to help you build confidence and gain foundational skills. I'll come to that. So the 8 things you need to do in order to land that job: you need to work on projects. You need to work on more projects. That's number 2. See, this more project is not even a joke. Then you need to revamp your resume, and we'll get to that. Definitely, we'll get to that. You need to revamp your resume. You need to network intentionally. Then you need to start applying for jobs after you've done the aforementioned. Then there is the part where you have to prepare for behavioral interview. A lot of people overlook this, and this is one of the things that makes people drop off an interview like super fast. Like super fast. You go for an interview, you didn't even know that, oh, there will be like a behavioral aspect of the questions that you be asked. So you're just like, oh, so confident and relaxed and everything, and you just go into that interview, and then you're met with questions that you probably have not prepared for, e.g., what's your weakness, something like that. Right? A lot of people don't know that you're supposed to coin your weakness to still eventually sound like a strength. And I'll give you guys an instance. Now, there was a time I went to interview for a job, and it was a software engineering role, and I got the job. By the way, I got the job, and you need to make sure that they fall in love with you. That's the honest truth. And you need to be very sincere with your answers. So when you speak from a place of knowledge, place of experience, and place of confidence, the chances of them falling in love with you is so high. Now, I was asked the question. That was the first time I was asked that question. And I just immediately knew that this has this has to be answered to make it sound like a strength, because I'm not about to come and sound weak. I just figured that out on the call. To be very honest, it was after that interview that I saw some materials that your weakness is supposed to sound like a strength. And I was like, oh, wow, for me to even like figure that out. So that's why I'm like, okay, most of these things, right? There's like a level of logic that needs to go into you sitting in front of a recruiter and responding to their questions, because sometimes they are all 3 questions, sometimes there are 3 questions. There is just a little thing they would include in their question that you don't know that is going to help them see into you in a certain level. So you don't want to give off, so you need to be like logically alert. So I was asked what my weakness was, and then I said, oh, it's actually doing things when the people I assign a job to do it are not doing it. And guys, I kid you not, it's not a lie. And this is it. Okay, I'm seeing questions. Oluwarotimi, I will attend to that. So I was asked, that question and I said, it is actually doing the work when the person I have assigned it to does not do it. That does not show good leadership quality, right? But then guess how I swinged it around? I created that sense of self awareness and I told them that I am aware that that is not a good quality, especially for someone who would be leading a team, because you want your teammates to be self-motivated. You want them to perform the task because if you have to do what you assign to them, because they are slowing down instead of motivating them and getting them to do the work because they were hired to do the work. So if you're doing it instead of allowing them to do it, then you are not being a leader, right? And you're not being productive because the time you're supposed to invest in doing other things, now you're using it to do the work of certain people. And then I gave them the scenario that, and the reason is because, oh, I'm the first child. I painted a real life scenario. Guys, everything I'm saying here is not a lie. It's the fact. As I told them in the interview, it was not a lie. I actually had that problem. I would assign something, they're not doing it. I'll just be like, it will take me 5 minutes. I'll just do it. But I was supposed to actually get them to do the work. So I'm the first child of my parents, and when I assign tasks to my siblings and they're not, maybe they're wasting my time, and I don't want my mom to come back home and she's like, because she will blame me. I assigned this to you to delegate. Nobody has done it, and I'm back and I'm meeting it like this. Oh, all hell is going to be let loose. So, in order for me to avoid that, I'll now, instead of getting them to do the work, I will go ahead and do it myself. And to me, now I'm like, oh, everybody's happy. I've done it. Nobody's going to be, yelled at. Nobody's going to be yelled at. So to me, that peace of mind alone is okay. But then I realized that they couldn't do much. That's my younger siblings. They couldn't do much when it comes to chores and everything. And I'm like, this is very terrible. Now that's self-awareness. I have been affecting that. And that's kind of also sums up to, the work aspect. I realized that, oh, this is actually a very bad trait. I figured out a way to make sure that everybody does the work, right? You're assigned, you're given a deadline, you have to turn it in. There is penalty if you don't. And I would always say this, if I even have to like say, oh, there'll be penalty, then you guys are not disciplined. Disciplined people don't need to know that there is something at stake for them to do something, right? So all of this said to an interviewer, and this was as far back as 3 years ago, all of this said to a recruiter, trust me, they were just like, oh, okay. They didn't ask me anything after that. Because what else do you want to say? You can already tell that this person is self-aware. This person knows how to manage people. She has learned from, I didn't need anybody to like point it out to me. I was able to point it out myself and all of that. So that's why it is very, very important that, okay, yes, there are some people that are self-aware. There are some people that can easily pick out, oh, I think this trait is a bad one. I need to get better, I need to improve and all that. So it's very important to just know that when you're asked your weakness, you're not supposed to really go about it, ending it as a weakness, end it as a strength. So my weakness is I don't know how to, I delegate, but I end up doing the work when they delay. But then you can tell that I take ownership. It points out that I take ownership. It points out that I do not like exceeding deadline. It points out that I stay true to my words when I say we'll do this and deliver it. I try to make sure that that's the case, right? And then it also showed that there was a moment of self-awareness. All of these traits from someone you're trying to hire, even if it's me, I'll hire me. If it's me, I'll hire me. So after that, I was just, because like I said, it's important to always read and keep learning. And I stumbled on this person on YouTube that was just talking about making your weakness end up as a strength. And I was like, okay, wow. And I didn't see this on time and I'm seeing it now. It's so good to know. And that thing kind of validated everything. Sometimes you're trying so hard. It's going to be recorded and shared with you, Adobe, via your email. So please make sure you fill the attendance form, please. That's how we can send this material and every other resources that I would also be sharing on this call. That's how we can get it across to you. So please, my colleague just dropped the attendance form again. So just fill it. We'll have your email from there and you receive it in your email address, right? And like I said, we also always upload it on YouTube like the next day. So you can already go on YouTube by tomorrow and you'll be able to watch it. Okay, so it's very important for you to understand the need to pay attention to behavioral questions. So you need to prep for that. And then technical interview prep is also there because you want to show that you have the hard skills, right? And naturally, the hard skills will get you in the door. But you see that behavioral part, that question, that soft skill, communication, team management or teamwork, stakeholder management, ownership. That was why I said there is a way they will ask you some questions, and from your response they would already be able to tell if you're somebody that takes ownership or not. So all these little things are things that people either overlook or don't pay attention to or are not aware of, and it kind of masks their opportunity or their chances of getting a job. Like it masks it, and you're wondering, I have applied, I did this. You need to tick all boxes, dot your I's, cross your T's. Don't just tick some boxes and then think that, okay, how about the other person that applied for the same job and ticked every box? And is they will definitely go for that person, right? So, and that was why I said at the start of this, you're applying for a job to get it, not to waste your time or their time, right? So it's very important for you to ensure that I apply and I have an edge. So how do I do that? Tick all boxes, guys, and that's how you land the role. Once you're done with that technical interview prep, you start applying. That already tells you that you are really prepared for the role you're applying for. Excuse me. That really tells you that you're prepared. So these are like the 8 steps that I was saying that I will also break down, right? So when you work on projects, at this point, you are not a pro. Projects are your definition of prerequisite experience. So you need to always make sure that you work on as many projects as possible. And why do we call projects prerequisite experience? Trust me, when you try to go for internship, sometimes there's still that prior experience that is needed. In my case, when I went for the internship, please guys, give me a thumbs up if you're following and if I'm not too fast and I'm going at your pace. All right, great. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Ayo. Thank you, Shola. Thank you, James. Awesome. Okay, so like I said, right, it is very important for you to understand that there is that part of prerequisite experience, even when it comes to getting an internship. And that's because I remember when I went for my internship, when I applied for my internship, and I was asked if I had done anything. Of course, I need to show them that I had done anything. It only makes sense, to be honest. It's not these people trying to make it difficult for you to have access or anything. No, that's not the case. They just want to be sure that, okay, yes, we will be investing resources. It might not, it wasn't even a paid internship. It wasn't a paid for that 6 months that I interned with them. But guess what, guys? What I gained, in fact, that internship propelled me. I'm grateful for that internship. It is the reason why I am where I am today. I will not lie. And I would explain the key things that I got from this internship. And I would always be a preacher of internship for anybody who has just finished taking a course in tech, especially. Let me speak for tech now because that's the space. So it doesn't matter the field in tech. Trust me, I have either worked with people in those fields, so I have vast knowledge about their roles and everything. And what exposed me to it, the fact that I got to work in a cross-functional team. If I was working on projects alone, I can't have a business analyst to work with. I can't have a data analyst to work with. Right now, I work closely with our product analyst at Amdari because we need to extract data from our database, we need to load data, and we need to transform data. It is very important for me to know all of these things because of the person I have been interacting with, right? There are some things that you will naturally know that you were not even prepared to learn it, and tools as well. And then when you're talking outside of your workplace, amongst other people, they realize that you have this vast knowledge. How did you do it? It's because you interact with cross-functional departments, and that's how you're building that knowledge and everything. So prerequisite experience allowed me to say, this is the project I have worked on. It's not even a project I'm proud of right now, to be honest, but it was good enough to get me in the door. I had built a landing page. So it was a website. So I built this landing page and I went for the interview. And yes, I was interviewed to get an internship role. To be honest, I was still, they are not paying, but I needed to be interviewed. They needed to know that I am even good enough, even though I wouldn't be paid, guys. So it's really crazy out there. And it's very competitive. There is always a slim spot for people because they've already hired their people. So they're just creating a room for you to come and learn on the job, right? So to be honest, internship, I still see it as they are doing me a favor to come and learn. So let me put in, this is an opportunity for me to grab as much knowledge as I can, because you're not meant to intern forever. In fact, I don't think any internship should exceed 6 months, right? The first 3 months, you're getting your foot grounded and solid. The last 3 months, you're dropping good and crazy results already. So that period, I got to work on a project before my internship, and that was what I submitted. And they checked it and they're like, okay, not bad, it's good enough, and all of that. And they were like, oh, for you to even have gone this this far with the project without, where you they asked me what tool I used. The fact that I had those knowledge of those tools again was one of those things. Again, technical interview. They asked me the language I used. They asked me if I was familiar with GitHub, the IDE I used. Aside from my IDE, what other IDEs do I know? Things like that. I talked about it. Oh, apart from the programming languages I use, which one do I know again? Why haven't I learned them, and all of that? Technical questions like that. Of course, they will not be too extra because they know that this person is still learning, right? So you need to work on projects. So immediately you're done with a program, please ensure that you work on projects to prepare yourself, so that when you say, oh, I'm applying for an internship with Google or Facebook, they have something to really say, okay, yeah, we can trust him with this and everything like that, right? So the next thing, again, like I said, work on more projects, please. More projects, more projects. It's even after getting a job, it's important to keep building. Like, it's very important. So the next thing would now be your resume. That's the next thing that you need to like pay serious attention to. Working on your resume to make sure that it is following industry standard is very important. So if you're working on your resume, for example, and I don't know the type of resume you guys have right now. I would have said, okay, let's use someone's resume as an example. But again, just to save time. So there are a lot of mistakes that people make when it comes to formatting their resume and all of that. Like, some people would even go as far as putting their high school. Some people would include their pictures and all of that. Why not allow your portfolio website to even have the picture side of you? Right? That's why there is a portfolio website. That's why Amdari also created a portfolio website. You see your resume itself, right? Just keep it simple. Include projects and experiences that you have gained. That's the projects you worked on and the experience. Experience would come first. I will show you guys a snippet of a resume template, the industry standard. I'm talking about the industry standard that people who have gotten internship at Google and the likes have used, right? Then include numbers and metrics. They drive eyeballs. Now, this resume, where you include numbers and metrics, can only be achieved after you have worked on an internship. And I would explain why this resume would stand out with something I would break down shortly, right? You want to get a job, and I am looking through your resume and I don't see this part that is commanding attention in bold. Like, I converted XYZ number of people within the space of XYZ. I was able to increase revenue by so percentage. Those parts in bold, they command attention and the eyeball of the recruiter. It's just important. You want to call the attention to the most important aspect of your resume, right? So make sure that you have those bolded in order to drive eyeballs to the specific part that you want them to see. Like I said, we'll get to the part of resume template shortly. Now, number 4 is intentional networking. You can network with people on LinkedIn, tech communities. Amdari, for example, has a tech community for data professionals. You can network with people from other companies using LinkedIn, of course. Just if there's a maybe company that's kind of aspirational for you, and the staff there are like, because you already know that for you to even be working in a company like this, it means you are top notch. You're a top notch professional. I want to like be this type of person. You can already start engaging with people like that via LinkedIn. Send them a friend request or connection request, right? Connect with them. Don't stop at that when they accept your connection request. You can still just go ahead and engage them in a conversation. When I say engage them, I'm not saying just say hi and then you expect them to respond before you say other things. Say hi, introduce yourself, what you do, the industry you play in, and if you are currently employed. and let them know why you connected with them. Please make sure that you compliment them. People love compliments, and compliments is one of the easiest ways that would make somebody to quickly respond to you, right? People are different. Yeah, some people might respond to you after that because of the compliment and not respond again. It doesn't mean you should stop. It's like applying for a job. It's like the law of averages in marketing. For 10 marketing that you do, or sales or adverts and everything, chances of you converting one is guaranteed, right? But the others will be no's and no's and no's, right? So it's still the same thing. Network with people. You don't know the lasting relationship that you can form. I know people that it's just being from, hi, I work as a this at social organization and all of that, and then we become friends because of what you've just said. Someone might be like, oh, this is a quality professional. I will be glad to, like, engage with. You can talk about your skills. If this person is in the same field as you, for example, you can easily talk about your skills, like, oh, I'm proficient in Power BI, Tableau, SQL, GCP, all the tools that you're proficient in, Lucas Studio, and all of that, even if it's Python, all of that, just let them know the technologies, tools, and languages that you're proficient in. Some of these people might be like, oh, and I don't know this language. I might want to, like, get to know this person. All of those things, make sure that you don't just stop at hi alone. Now, the next aspect is for you to start applying for jobs, right? But before you start applying, you need to have gone through your behavioral interview prep. Have a backstory to the listed experience on your resume. Remember, I was talking about how they asked me about my weakness, and I told them I went ahead to even add a backstory based on my personal experience as a first child, right? Have a backstory based on your experience at your previous organization, interacting with your team lead, interacting with this person. Make sure you have that backstory to add to all of those key things that you listed. There are ways for them to know that, okay, they would perceive your personality from that. Behavioral questions just allows them to perceive your personality. So they'll be able to tell if you have a good personality or not. So trust me, you want to have a good personality. Know your leadership principles as a person. I told you earlier that there are some things that it won't be a direct question, but it will just be those details that would tell them that, okay, this person takes ownership. Oh, okay, this person communicates expectations well. Because if you don't know how to manage expectation, guys, it can blow up every good work that you've been doing. And I'm speaking from experience. You'll be doing everything. The minute you're not able to manage expectation, it can just blow it all up in your face. So little things that you talk about would allow them to say, oh, okay. They'll pick more about who you are. I've talked about your strengths and weaknesses. Of course, strength is strength. It's positive. Weakness is negative. So you want to end it on a positive note, right? By making it eventually sound like a strength. And that would, in fact, if you can even be so deep with them that they'll be able to now pick out other traits of yours that are positive, amazing. Like the part where I said, oh, it immediately indicates that I'm a self-aware person and all of that, right? And I take ownership. So everything like that. Then the next thing for your technical interview, you need to take online assessments. There is this part where some of these recruiters will typically give you like online assessment. They'll give you online video interview or whiteboard interviews and all of that. It is very important for you to prepare. Just know the expectation. There is online assessment, there is online video interview, there is whiteboard interviews. So you need to learn all this. For a data analyst, for example, when it comes to technical interview, for data professionals, let me even just put them under the same umbrella. You need to learn data structures and algorithms. You need to also know the tools that you can use in order to practice. And we have all of these resources, like I said. Just ensure that you drop your your email and fill the attendance form, and all these resources will be shared with you, right? And you just need to have all of this, what's it called now? There is one tool that's the CSV tool, right? csvstool.com. It's a tool that really allows you to prepare to learn about data structures and algorithm. There's also another one called leadscode.com, yes. And it's one that also allows you to practice technical interview questions and formats. Just start easy. Start with the easy questions, then go up the ladder. But start with the easy questions. Learn a lot about data structures, do a lot of arrays, array questions, stacks and queues and everything like that. Just bombard your brain with so much of that so that when they ask you questions, you're able to provide answers. Now you can now start applying. I'm bringing us back to applying. I jumped it the other time. Now you can start applying. Apply for internships, apply for jobs. And when it comes to internships, you need to understand that some will be paid while some will not be paid. Most internships are not paid. But either ways, you're winning. You're gaining so much. If it's paid, if it's not paid, you're gaining. You're going there to gain. I don't see internship as that, because even if it's paid, how much are they going to pay you? To be honest, it's stipend. The paid ones are always stipends, except it's the internship programs that Facebook, which is Meta, have, and the likes of, what's the other one? Amazon, those ones. If it's not those ones, if it's other organizations that are giving internship, it's oftentimes unpaid. And if it's paid, it's stipend just to cover data and everything like that. So another tip I would like you to also be aware of is if you're working on a tool you have no clue about, it is very important for you to do what? Just take a crash course. You can take a crash course on platforms like Coursera and the likes, and you just brush up your knowledge. That's if you get, like, when you get the job or the internship, and then you see that, oh, you'll be working on some tools, or maybe when they were asking questions during the interview, they were mentioning certain tools that they use in the organization. When you get the job, you want to go and work on learning those tools. Just take a crash course. And a second tip I would give you regarding your resume is the fact that it is very important for you to make sure that you submit it as a PDF. Do not submit your CV as Word document. I have a lot of people who have done that. It will mess up your formatting. And remember, CV and formatting 5 and 6, right? It's not like this. It's like this. Your CV and the formatting. Because if the formatting is messed up, it's really going to stain your white. Let me put it that way. It will stain your white. So you want your CV to be in a PDF format. It is not going to change. A lot of people still send their CV as Word document. Once we open it, it is like scattered and all of that. There was a recent job application that we put out at Amdari, and a couple of people who applied, and we still had like 30% of them submitting Word document, right? 30%, if not more, submitting Word document, and it was messing it up, and I could not sincerely look at it straight because it was just a lot. This was there, the spacing was messed up. Of course, not because they didn't do it right, but because they didn't send it in the right format, and now everything is messed up, right? So it's very important for us to like pay attention to all these little details like this. Please, if you're still following and you're enjoying the session, can you give me a thumbs up? You're gaining from this session. Please give me a thumbs up. Thank you, John. Thank you, Dennis. All right. Thank you, guys. So moving on, the key project benchmarks in a job interview. Now, I want you to understand the reason why I said what I said earlier about the fact that projects alone are not enough, right? You need to work on as many projects as possible, and then you need to level up, like add more to it. Now, one thing that interviewers look out for when you go for an interview and you give them your CV and you have projects on it, one thing they look out for is the impact that that project has had. So if you have not worked with an organization as an intern, there is no way that project is going to have any major impact, right? So to them, it's practice project. To them, you didn't receive feedback. To them, there was nobody that reviewed it. So it's just based on what you assumed was right. It's not like the projects you worked on are not even perfect. Most of those projects are not even guided, which is not the same as what Amdari has. Amdari's projects are guided. They have business context. So it's naturally adding value to a company. So there is impact when Amdari project is concerned, or where Amdari project is concerned, right? So impact on your projects, of your projects on a business is very important. So what was the business impact of the projects you have worked on? Or was it just practice project that had no business context? It was just, things like this will add to your grade or your rating. Then accessibility, the ease of getting that experience, or the company in which the experience was gained. Imagine you just come and say you interned at Google. of course you're going to be a hot cake. You intern at Google because they know the quality of people that go into that place. They know that companies like that would not take people who are below par. They would always take people who are top notch, who are maybe, not just planners, but executors. Like, they are not just about ideas, but they are about execution and so much more, right? So if you're able to get into an internship like that, trust me, it increases your score. I'll show you how the rating is done. Then we have the time investment aspect. Trust me, the number of time you invest in an internship also counts. And I'll explain the different internships and how time investment works. Then we have the earnings. Was it a paid internship or not a paid internship? It's also one of the things that they consider, right? If it's not a paid internship, they know that you gain experience regardless. If it's a paid internship, it's just a plus one, right? So when you learn, work on projects. When you work on projects, please apply for internship. When you get the internship, trust me, you are job ready. This is just the perfect way to be job ready, right? And I'm talking about job readiness. That means you get nothing less than a proper six-figure fee, right? I'm not talking about the early step six-figure now. And honestly, that's one thing that internship just skyrockets the journey for you. Like, it just throws you high up there because you gain that proper experience. Now, according to that benchmark I just showed us, which is this one, the impact, the accessibility, the time investment, and earnings. Let's see how the rating is done. Now, number one, internship. You apply for internship. You got the internship. Now you're applying for a job, and then they want to rate you based on the type of experience you've gotten. I'll be showing us the different ways you can gain experience, which is beyond just internship and project. So I'm showing us six ways you can get experience, and how each of these 6 ways that you can get experience or gain experience can add to your chances of getting a job. Now, internship is the number one way to get a job. And when you gain an internship with an organization, you intern based on impact, that's 5. And that's because internship means you worked on projects that had direct impact on a business. Increased revenue, reduced marketing budgets, or any of those helped with better decision making that impacted subsequent decisions that led to increase in this or that in the organization, or even recruitment, right? So impact when it comes to internship is 5 stars. Accessibility, when it comes to internship, it is very difficult to access, like very, very difficult naturally, right? So if there is that particular what's it called now? If there's that particular internship that you apply for, or rather in this case, no, if there's this particular way of acquiring experience that you show as, oh, this was how I gained my experience. If it's internship, you stand a higher chance because, like I said, it's hard to get into internship. So even internship, when it comes to accessibility, it is difficult, but then because you got it, your rating is increased. Then we have time investment. You need to invest so much time in internship. It's not like practice projects. Practice projects, you're working on your own pace, right? Or at your own pace, rather. So you're not investing as much time. But when it comes to this, you're investing so much time. So honestly, for this, it's also a 5-star. So earning as well is increased because if it's paid, it's 5 stars. If it's not, it's 4 stars, right? So this gives you the opportunity to increase your star rating. So internships naturally transform your resume from empty to impactful. They provide real-world experience, allowing you to contribute to meaningful projects and showcase your ability to solve business problems. So trust me, I recommend internship as the perfect way for you to gain experience. Now let's talk about mentorship under a professional, right? When it comes to impact, it's a 5. And the reason is because it is not just random. I am a professional in the tech space. If I'll be bringing you on board as a mentee, I'll be giving you tasks that I know would have direct impact on maybe my business or some certain businesses, right? So you having a mentor is very perfect for your career path. So there is also a way you put that on your resume such that it is well, communicated. Then accessibility to mentorship is very difficult. We all can attest to that fact. Like, how many of us have mentors here? If you have a mentor, can you give me a thumbs up? Thank you, guys. If you have a mentor, can you give me a thumbs up? Like, you have a mentor. Okay, we have a couple of people that have mentors. All right. For people who have mentors, how has it like impacted you? Like, you would agree that it's life changing, right? How has it been? You can type it. I just would like to know how your experience with your mentors, like how has it impacted your career path? So I have my eyes on the chat, so I'm reading. I'm looking forward to your response. So I see your message, Dennis. You said I need mentorship in data and you're in the right place, Dennis. Just make sure you stay till the end of this and please ensure that you fill the attendance form. It is perfect. Mentorship is one of the, like, just one. It's like a piece of the puzzle of what we give out at Amdari. Mentorship is like a one-on-one proper mentorship is what we have at Amdari. Like I said, just stay till the end and you get that. So mentorship really helps you a great deal as a professional. The time you invest in it is also a lot, and then the earning not so much, right? So it's very important for you to understand that don't joke with mentorship because it increases your score. Like, it increases it because mentorship under a professional transforms theoretical knowledge into applied expertise by contributing to their research, like I said, their research or initiatives, again, their work. You gain hands-on experience, refine your problem-solving skills, and build a strong foundation. Remember, this comes with supervision. This comes with approval. This comes with feedback. The same thing with internship. They come with that, right? Now, if you go to gain experience by working as a teaching assistant, right? The impact is zero because you're not doing as much. So the impact is zero. Accessibility is very easy. Like, you can get in so easily. It is very easy. Time investment, you tend to invest a little more time because you're a teaching assistant. So you're constantly, you're teaching. So that's how, involved you'd be. Then the earning, yes, you'd most likely be paid, right? So in this case now, being a teaching assistant is more than just assisting. It's a leadership role because you have people you're training. So it hones your communication skill, organizational skill, and technical skill while allowing you to guide others and deepen your knowledge, your understanding of the subject through teaching. I don't know if anybody would agree with this. When you're teaching people, you're gaining new knowledge yourself. In fact, there are some things that you'll be talking about and you're like, oh, okay. It just makes sense in your head the more. Yes, you were the one that put everything together, but you're still talking about it and you're like, okay, sometimes it leads to more discovery. Like, there are some things that you find out. And teaching sometimes leads to having more questions. Again, leads to you broadening your horizon, right? So it's also a good way to gain experience. Another way people gain experience is by working closely with grad students, right? And working closely with grad students means your impact is deep to a certain level. What that means is you get to like collaborate on that grad student's project. Remember that their project is also like major. You're contributing on their project, you're offering a deep dive into the research and the innovation. So it is a chance to develop your analytical, technical, and collaborative skills. Because now you're not working alone, you're working with that grad student. So another way to really gain experience, like I said, I'm showing you guys the different ways you can gain experience and the ones that have upper hand. You see, mentorship, internship number one, and mentorship, please don't joke with it. You see, we've not gotten to project side yet. This is volunteering. For volunteering, impact is also major because in most cases, you're volunteering with actually a real organization. In fact, I've not seen a volunteer role that is just even with some organizations that are playing. No, it's always very serious. So there is impact. Accessibility, because it's obvious they're not going to pay, so it's easy for you to access it. Time investment, now it's half because you can also choose to like dedicate certain hours of your day, so you're not exactly that committed. Then the earning aspect also zero because there's no payment. So it offers you a very unique platform to create impact and gain diverse experience. You would be working with a cross-functional team, and it's all just, great ways to build experience. So the last on the list is open source or GitHub project or projects. We can just call it projects. The impact is one because you're not working on projects that have business impact. In some cases, there might be a little bit business context. In Amdari's case, it's a 5 because there is business context and you're adding impact. We have guided projects. Our projects, of course, like I said, we build products that have major impact on the people we are building it for. So what is it that our competitors are not doing that we can add to our own? That's one of the ways that Amdari keeps standing out. So accessibility to projects is very easy, except you don't know where to look. Investment, that's time investment, because you can work with your time. That's also one of it. And then the earning is zero, obviously, because it's you just working on random projects. So it provides you an unparalleled opportunity to collaborate globally because we have different people contributing to open source projects from across the globe. So you're able to collaboratively work with these guys. So these are ways for you to gain this experience. So all of this seems like a lot. What happens if or when I get stuck on Maumi? That's when Amdari comes into the picture. So Amdari is like like all-in-one solution to everything that has to do with your career, like all-in-one solution. So in that case, what this means is, you see that internship I spoke about, you can get it at Amdari. Mentorship, you can get it at Amdari. We have daring tech professionals who are currently global talents that are strictly our mentors. So we selected them intentionally and deliberately because we want to make sure that our professionals gain as much and learn as much from other people's wealth of knowledge. We have 50 plus guided projects. So I've been talking about how projects are like you working in solo or silos. You don't have anybody to work with. Nobody's reviewing your work. Nobody's guiding. In fact, I was speaking to someone last week during a one-on-one mentorship session, and this person said he abandoned a project he was working on in data analytics 3 years ago because there was no, he got stuck and there was no one to guide him. That is not the case with Amdari. We have specialists in-house, permanent, that attend to any technical glitch or issue that professionals have. We have the CV review and revamp side. We have international job reference letter, LinkedIn optimization, a portfolio website builder. I mentioned that at the start, a global job board, and employability session. These are sessions that helps you with your soft skills, interview prep that I mentioned earlier, technical interview prep, and behavioral interview prep. They help you to develop the needed skill to get that job. So, like I said, we know what the questions are and we help you prepare for it. Now, for you to craft a winning CV, you need to avoid common mistakes like terrible formatting or including irrelevant details like your high school and the likes. Clearly list what you've built. That's the project you've worked on. But first, you need to start with your experience. Experience comes first. But one thing you need to understand, I don't know if we have students on the call, when it's like a student who is applying for a job, right? Who is applying for an internship, for example, you want to lead it with your education. Then your experience comes first. You're leading with education because you have to make sure that it is not just because you're a student, you want them to know if you're a sophomore, if it's your first year, or they need to have an idea of the level you are in your education. Because again, like I said, you probably are like a student. So in their case, so it is only applicable to students if you are applying and it is an internship role and you know that you're still in school. But if you're not in school and you're applying for an internship role, please lead with your experience. Now, if you've not gained any experience, it automatically means you have to lead with projects that you have worked on, right? So you lead with the projects that you've worked on and make sure that it is clearly listed and make sure that you are very descriptive of what you've built. Then use numbers to grab attention. That was why I mentioned earlier that when it's just projects, it is honestly going to be tricky for you to have numbers because impact equals numbers, right? And numbers equals impact. So internship can give you that. And the internship we have at Amdari, gives you that 100% because you're working on the business challenges of our business partners. So it gives you that opportunity to have the impact you've made on your resume, on your CV. And I'm talking, this CV is not just for an internship, guys. It's a proper preparatory session I'm having with you. I'm just listing the different ways you can get experience, the ones I listed before. And this is the perfect way to also craft a winning CV, right? And we have the full template of this. You can see that I just cut it halfway. We have the full template of this, and it can be accessible as well. Now, we have this aspect, which is the behavioral interview question by competence. Now, we have adaptability. I just picked out one questions for this. Like, I have a document of different behavioral questions that you can be asked during an interview. Because I wanted to just cover a couple, I just had to like cut out the other questions and just created a new document and highlighted this for you. Again, if you'd like to receive the other documents, please make sure that you drop your link and we will reach out to you, right? Fill the form, attendance form rather, and you'll be contacted. So highlight your strength, right? Please, can you confirm that you can still hear me? I want to be sure that everybody can still hear me. Awesome. Thank you very much, John. Thank you, Sas. All right, Emmanuel, Duka. Thank you. So highlight your strength when you're talking about like your adaptability, your analytical thinking, attention to detail. We were having a stand-up meeting with the interns that we have at Amdari right now last week, and their project supervisor, that's their internship lead, was having the conversation, and one of them during the session was like, oh, there is a particular part of the data set that is not accurate, the timestamp. That was attention to detail. And the internship lead went on and on about commending this person for spotting that. Now, that's a very commendable trait. So when you go for interviews, what do you like? They would ask you questions related to adaptability. What do you do when priorities change quickly? Trust me, this happens. Guys, you cannot change your boss's mind. You need to understand that when it comes to working in a real life scenario, a lot can go into the picture. You can't change your boss's mind. Things would happen. Priority will change. Oh, we're not working on this anymore. Change this. How do you switch and adapt? You need to know how to answer this. The internship that we have at Amdari prepares people for this because you work on a lot. So much happens, right? And that's why it's very important for you to have that internship experience. Now, analytical thinking. Give me a specific example of a time when you used good judgment and logic in solving a problem. I gave you an instance of when I said, oh, I didn't know how to really, when I delegate, I end up, doing the work because of all of this. I was analytical in my thinking, and I was like, do you know what? There has to be something that we put in the picture, right? And when we are doing that, it is going to be a case of people being paying attention to everything that we're doing. So what this means by default is this. When I said that the interview, when I said that, what's it called now? My analytical thinking came into the picture and all of that. In this case now, my judgment was the fact that when I said, oh, if you don't go ahead and if you don't do what you're supposed to do or don't submit on time and all of that, you'd be penalized. But then at that point in time, I said, if I even have to do that, that means that the discipline is not there. That was a sense of judgment. And trust me, that made people adjust. I was very psychological with what I said. I was very psychological with it. So when I said that, what that automatically told them was, if I go ahead in any way and I don't do this, this is a definition of me not being disciplined, right? So that really kind of switched their thought process and everything like that. So the next thing here is attention to detail. Tell me about a job or a setting where great attention to detail was required to complete a task. The lady that interned with us now, if she was asked this question, that lady I said came up with that thing during that interview, she would just not talk about the fact that the timestamp on the data set was wrong, but it would mean she would go ahead and talk more about that project. That shows that she has really gained the experience. Remember that she reported this to her team lead, right? So this is a case of what internship would do for you. Trust me. And it goes on and on. right? We have the communication aspect, we have the conflict resolution aspect, because you can't avoid conflict where two or more people are gathered. Trust me, as long as it's more than one person, two or more people are gathered, conflict would happen. It doesn't mean physical or anything. It doesn't even mean verbal conflicts or no, 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 not anything. But conflict of interest, conflict of timing, conflict can be anything. As long as there is no alignment, there is conflict. So here are some of the open source websites and other resources that you can have access to easily. So open source websites where you can select projects. Number one, I would always recommend Amdari. And I would always say any professional, right, that is very, very serious about their growth, just use Amdari. Like I said, the projects there are guided. GitHub projects are not guided. The ones on Bitbucket, but these are just additional resources that you can check out, right? OpenML, PyData, and a couple of that. And when it comes to Amdari project, it's guided. You have a project contributor that guides you on how to do it. When you submit your solution, you have a portfolio. You can't do it with this, but it's always good to broaden your horizon and have other resources that you use. That's why we've listed this. And even when we have our interns on board, we give them additional resources because we know that you can gain knowledge from other places as well. Then we have the other aspects of behavioral interview questions.
Hello everyone, good evening. Amomi will be joining us in a minute. She had a network glitch. Just a minute, okay? Let me know if you can hear me. Please give me a thumbs up. Thank you very much. She'll be joining us back in a minute. She had a technical glitch. Thank you so much. Hello everyone. Keep calm. Amomi will be joining us back in a minute, okay? Thank you so much for your patience. The facilitator will be back in a minute. Thank you very much. I know you can't wait for us to get back in. Just a minute, okay? Thank you. Give me a thumbs up if you can still hear me. Okay, thank you, Apati. Okay, I think Apati can hear me. Thank you, Zuma. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you so much. Just a minute.
Hi guys. I'm so sorry. My network just kicked me out. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, thank you very much. Great. Apologies for that. Okay, so let's get straight into it again. So just a minute. I'll share my screen now. Okay. Just give me a thumbs up once you can see my screen. All right, great. Awesome. Thank you guys. Okay, so hope you guys were still hearing me when I got to this part. Were you hearing me? If you say no, just give me a thumbs down so I can just, okay, okay. Was it here? Were you hearing me when I was here? Okay, okay. All right. I think it was when I was still here then. You were hearing me when I was here, right? Okay, okay. Okay, 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 okay. Thank you very much. So yes, I was saying at this point that when it comes to the resources, right, behavioral interview, technical interview, these are things that we give out to you for free, right? When you are one of our career experience interns or work experience interns, because they are part of the interview prep sessions that we have, in addition to the mentorship session that you have and every other aspect of the internship. Pretty much everything that helps you to build your career properly. So when I move on now, I said Ichok. So what are the best ways to take advantage in tech? You need to actually be in any of the in-demand fields, right? You need to either be working as a business analyst, agile project manager, data analyst, cybersecurity analyst. I'll show us all of that. So under business analysis, you can actually be anything like business data analyst, process analyst, functional analyst, change management analyst, business process improvement analyst, system analyst, and a whole lot more. And under projects, agile project management, you can either be an agile project manager, agile project program manager, project scrum master consultant, all of these that you see here, like I said, right? And when it comes to the other aspect, which is cybersecurity, you can be a cybersecurity expert. And by the way, these are the tools that you also use. And these are things that we equip you with properly, even when you undergo internship at Amdari, right? You can be SOC analyst, penetration tester, information security analyst, and all that. Then we have the data fields, right? You can either work as a data analyst, product analyst, business intelligence analyst, logistics analyst. The list goes on and on. Again, like I said, it is very important to take into account these roles because they are the fields that are in demand. They are the fields that employers are hiring for. And these are the fields that we also provide internship for at Amdari. And there is nothing like, oh, I get stuck, I am stuck, or anything like that. You cannot get stuck when you undergo internship at Amdari because you have mentorship, you have your internship lead and the supervisor, and then you have the general team as well. So you can always reach out and, the professionals will reach out to you. So it says, these roles require me to have experience. Give me an easy way to go about it. So it's so easy. Like I said, our work experience program. The reason why we call it internship is because it's the easiest way for people to understand what we do, right? So if we call it work experience, some people might still have questions. But when we call it internship, you already know that, oh, it's you working to gain experience. But we call it work experience program. Amdari work experience program, which is RAVE, RAVE, remote apprenticeship virtual experience, right? So in this case now, how the model works, the work experience model at Amdari, it's simple. We have business partners, and then they present us with their unique data challenge or any form of challenge they have that falls under cybersecurity, project management, or what's it called? Business analysis, right? They present us with this unique challenge, and then we take up this challenge, assign it to our groups of interns. That's the people who are enrolled in our work experience program. So these interns are working with us for our business partners. So they are working with Amdari as consultants. So it can be data analytics consultant, data engineering consultant, and all of that. So it can be any of that, right? And when we assign them to teams, they come together, they brainstorm, and they work together as a team. Remember all I have said about teamwork, working together, team spirit, and everything like that. So it is very important to understand that there is so much to gain when you are not working in isolation. And that's what comes with the Amdari work experience internship. So when we assign it, they come together, brainstorm and work on it together, arrive at a solution, recommendation, and insight, and they present it as a team, as a group. So they present it, and that's all of their findings, their insights, and recommendation. That's what they present to us. And then it is added to their portfolio. Remember that what they are presenting is recommendation and insight. This recommendation and insight is expected to, in turn, add impact to that business. So imagine them doing that. Automatically, what you're adding to your portfolio is the impact, the work that you have done. You add it to your portfolio, you get LinkedIn recommendation, you add it to your CV that you worked with Amdari, you get your work preference letter on demand within 2 years, and then you use experiences during interview, meaning you use all of the experience you gained while working at Amdari, right? So how Amdari perfectly helps you to rebrand your professional career is we give you the project-based experience and we give you the employability skills, which I have mentioned while I was talking. So when it comes to the project-based experience, you have 6 to 8 real industry-based projects to work on. Now, this is in addition to the business partners that you're working with, right? You get to work on these projects. You get to work with cross-functional teams, right? So sorry for that. I really don't know why my network keeps going off and on. So can you give me a thumbs up? I'm back. I am back actually. Thank you. Henry, and I am back. All right. So yes, so as I was saying, you get all of these industry experiences and it helps you build um the needed skills to prepare you. So you work in teams, you network with your teammates, and all of this adds to everything I have been saying initially. Tell me, if you're able to piece all this together with all of the requirements I mentioned at the start of this session, can you give me a thumbs up? Like you can piece all of this together, like everything that Amdari is offering to all of the things I have been mentioning. So Amdari is just that one-stop shop that gives you all that mentorship that is important. You get it. And like I said, we went intentional with the people we selected for your to be mentors, right? So we did not just select random stuff. Then the employability skill, which is in addition to the behavioral and the technical interview prep that you get your CV revamped, you get your LinkedIn optimized, one-on-one mentorship session. We don't joke with this because we know the impact it has. The interview preparation, okay, I already mentioned that. The online portfolio builder, which I also already mentioned, and also the job reference letter that I mentioned. I'll show you what the portfolio website looks like briefly. So in order to join the Amdari internship cohort, we have one coming up in January. We currently have the November one going on, right? So, and the career paths that can join the internship are what we have here: data analytics, data science, data engineering, HR analytics, financial analytics, cybersecurity, and project management, right? So these are the career paths that can join the January cohort. And currently, the enrollment is ongoing because we take limited people so that we can pay as much attention as possible to the people who are enrolled in the internship. So to secure your internship placement, permit me to quickly show you my screen. Just a minute. I'll just switch to the tab for that, and we'll just get started. So you can secure your internship with the link that my colleague just dropped on the group, right? And it's very easy. Enrollment fee is actually 300,000 naira, but you can pay in 3 installments. So that's 100,000 for every month. It's very easy and straight to the point, right? So one of the good things about the internship is that it opens you to opportunities that allows you to not just network, but propel you for great opportunity, right? So yes, that's why we always encourage people to take advantage of this. So like I said, okay, I'm seeing some reactions. I'll take questions shortly, everybody. So you can enroll and take advantage of the internship that we have at Amdari. So just a minute. Although we've come to the end of the session, but I just quickly want to show you the special offer as well, because we have a discount at the moment. So you might want to also take advantage of that one. All right.